Children, and welcome back. Today we are going to see some of the diseases, how it is caused, what are its symptoms, how do we analyze for that disease, and treatment of some of the diseases which infect human beings. Okay. Now, what is health, children? Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Health is also affected by genetic disorders, infections, change in the lifestyle, etc. Right? And also, mind influences our immune system through neural and endocrine system, and thus it influences our health. So, there is a proverb: a sound mind in a sound body. So, mind also has a great influence on our health. Okay. So, when the functioning of any one of the organs or systems is affected, we call it as disease. Yes, when do we consider or call as a disease? When the functioning of an organ or organ system of the body is adversely affected, it is called as disease. Now, diseases may be considered or are of two types according to the mode of transmission, right? They are infectious and non-infectious. So, what are infectious disease? The diseases which transmit from one person to another are called as infectious disease. And what are non-infectious? They are the ones which do not transmit from one person to another. Now, how are infectious diseases caused? They are caused by pathogens. Who are pathogen, children? The disease causing organisms are called as pathogens. Okay? And parasites are pathogens as they harm the host. Okay. Now, Hippocrates and the Indian Ayurvedic system considered our body consists of 4 types of humors, which are the blood, the yellow bile, the black bile, and the phlegm. Okay. He said that all the 4 humors should be equally balanced. If the increase or decrease of one of the humors may result or may cause diseases. Okay. Now we'll see some common diseases which affect our human beings. Okay. The first of this kind is the typhoid. Who causes typhoid? It's caused by a bacteria called as Salmonella typhi. Who's the pathogen, children? The Salmonella typhi, which is a bacteria. Now, how it is coming to us, or how it is getting transmitted to us? It enters the small intestine through contaminated food and water, and afterwards it migrates to the other organs of the through blood. Okay, so first it enters small intestine. Now, when the body is affected by typhoid, what are the symptoms it shows? We have fever, high fever, headache, weakness, because it affects our intestine, right? So we have stomach pain, constipation, loss of appetite, intestinal perforation, and death may also occur. Long back, children, people used to die of typhoid also, typhoid, cholera and things. But nowadays it's a very acute disease and can be easily cured, right? Okay. And now the test to confirm typhoid is the Vidal test. What is that? Vidal test. Okay. And there was one Mary Mallon. She was nicknamed as Typhoid Mary because she had transmitted to many persons around her, and because through the food she prepared. Okay, and she herself was not infected, that's the case. So she was called as Mary Mallon or Typhoid Mary. She was also nicknamed as Typhoid Mary. The next disease is pneumonia. Pneumonia is also caused by bacteria, which is the name of the bacteria is Streptococcus pneumoniae, and also caused by Haemophilus influenzae. So, who is the causative organism, children? Who is the pathogen? Streptococcus pneumoniae, and also is caused by Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, now it mostly affect our lungs. Okay, the alveoli get filled with fluid, leading to respiratory problem or breathing problem, because of which he or she suffers from breathing problem, because the lung is getting filled with fluid. Okay, and how it is transmitted from one person to another? By inhaling the droplets or aerosols released by an infected person. Also, we get through sharing of the used item by the patients. Patients may use different items like plates or glasses or clothing. Right? If we touch or we use them, we may get the pneumonia. Okay. What are the symptoms of pneumonia, children? Yeah, respiratory problems, fever, chills, cough, and in severe cases, even lips and fingernail turns gray and grayish or bluish in color because of lack of oxygen. Because of our lung is affected, our other organs of our body is not getting oxygen properly. Okay, so our nails and fingers may turn gray or blue. Next disease is the common cold. It is caused by a group of viruses. It is not caused by one virus. It is caused by a group of viruses called as rhinovirus or rhinoviruses. Okay. Now it usually affects our nose and the respiratory passage and not the lungs, it seems. Okay. So it affects our nose and respiratory passage, and it lasts for nearly 3 to 7 days. And what is the mode of transmission now? Again, by inhaling droplets resulting from cough or sneeze through contaminated objects, pen, book, cup, or any other items used by the persons, right? Okay. And what are the symptoms of this one? Symptoms of common cold. Nasal congestion, which is blockage of the nose and also discharge from the nose, fever, headache, sore throat, cough, tiredness, etc. Right. Next, we are going to see about malaria. How do we get malaria, children? When I ask you, you may directly say by the bite of mosquito. But the mosquito only is a carrier, right? It will carry the pathogens. Which is the pathogen now? It is the protozoan called as Plasmodium. So there are many species of Plasmodium which cause malaria, which is Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium falciparum. Right? And falciparum, Plasmodium falciparum causes most serious of the malaria or most commonly caused diseases because of falciparum. Right? And you know how it is caused by which mosquito? The female, right? The female Anopheles mosquito, right? And what are the symptoms, common symptoms of malaria? High fever, recurrent fever. That is after every 48 hours, every 72 hours we get fever, recurrent fever, which is caused because of the release of a toxin by the Plasmodium, which is called as hemozoin. What is the name of the toxin? Hemozoin. Right. Okay. Now you should know the life cycle of this malarial parasite. Right. Now when it bites human being, when a mosquito bites human being, it is releasing the sporozoites. What is that? The sporozoites into our blood. From its salivary gland, it is releasing the sporozoite. Okay? Sporozoites. Okay. And it passes through the blood, it passes through the liver. It first goes to the liver. And from the liver, from where it undergoes asexual reproduction. Many times it undergoes asexual reproduction to form many number of these organisms, and it is released outside into the blood by the bursting of the liver cells. Okay, in the liver, first it goes, when it reaches the blood, with what stage it reaches? The sporozoite stage, right? And now from the blood it goes to the liver, where it undergoes asexual reproduction, and it is released outside by the bursting of the liver cells, from where it enters the RBC cells. Again it undergoes asexual reproduction, and then it forms the male and the female gametocytes. It is forming the male and the female gametocytes. And at this gametocyte stage only, the mosquito, when mosquito bites a malarial person, right, a patient, when the mosquito bites the malarial patient, it will suck or it will, along with the blood, this gametocytes enter the mosquito's body, and it goes to the stomach, where they fuse, they fertilize, the male and the female fertilize, and the sporozoites are released, right? And the sporozoites then travel from the intestine, from the stomach or the intestine, to the salivary glands, and stay there unless and until it bites another patient or another person, or a not sick person, a normal person. Okay, so this is the life cycle of the malarial parasite. Next is amoebic dysentery or amoebiasis, right? And it is caused by a pathogen, a amoeba, that is a protozoan, which is called as Entamoeba histolytica. What is the name of the pathogen? Entamoeba histolytica. And how do we get this disease? What is the mode of transmission? Yeah, through contaminated food and water. And who contaminates the food mainly? The houseflies, okay, which transmit the parasite from the feces to the food and water. And what are the common symptoms of this amoebiasis? Just constipation, abdominal pain, and cramps, stool with excess mucus and blood clot. That's one of the symptoms. Stool with excess mucus and blood. Okay, right. And what are the symptoms? Okay. Next disease, we'll go to next disease, which is Ascariasis. Ascariasis, which also affect our digestive systems. And what is the name of the parasite or pathogen? Ascariasis. Ascaris lumbricoides. What is that? Ascaris lumbricoides, right? Which is the common roundworm. You know that, right? Ascalminthus, belonging to the phylum Ascalminthus. And how do we get this disease? What is the mode of transmission? It transmits through soil or water or vegetables and fruits. No, we buy no. Maybe it may be contaminated with this parasite. Okay, with the feces containing eggs of parasite. And what is the common symptoms? It causes internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia. Anemia is the common symptom of Ascariasis, and blockage of intestinal passage. You should know at least 2 symptoms, children. You should by heart 2 symptoms, right? And next disease is Phylariasis. What is Phylariasis? It is elephantiasis. Right. It's also caused by a worm. Pathogen is filarial worm or Wuchereria bancrofti. What is the name of the pathogen, children? Wuchereria bancrofti. Okay, so how it get transmitted to us? Yeah, by the bite of the mosquito, female mosquito called as Culex, female Culex mosquito. Okay, now what are the symptoms? Filaria elephantiasis. Yeah, filarial worm lives in the lymphatic vessels of the lower limb, especially it affects our lower region of our body. It causes chronic inflammation of the organs in which they live, and the limbs and genital organs may be deformed. You can see this. Okay, and now we come to the last of the diseases, ringworm infection. Ringworm is not worm, children. It is a fungal disease. Okay. So what is the name of the fungus which cause disease, this ringworm disease? They are the Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. So name it. What are they? Which are the fungus which cause disease, the ringworm infection? Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. Okay, now they are seen in the groins and between the toes, mostly wet toes. Wetness or moist places, you know that moisture is needed for these organisms to grow. So it is present between the toes, between the fingers of the legs, and also in the groin, it seems. Right? Okay. So how it is transmitted from one person to another? From soil, especially from soil, or by using towels, cloths, utensils, comb, etc. And heat and moisture help the fungi to grow. What are the symptoms of this disease? You can see this dry scaly lesions on skin, nails, scalp, etc. and itching. Very much of itching you can get. Okay. Now how can you prevent the diseases? Prevention is better than cure, you know. Right? What are the ways to prevent disease? One of the best ways is to keep personal hygiene and also public hygiene. These are the different ways to eliminate the vector, especially the mosquitoes, by avoiding stagnation of water, by regular cleaning of household coolers, by the use of mosquito nets, and by introducing larvivorous fishes like gambusia and guppies in the water tanks or in the water bodies around our house. Right? And also spraying insecticides in ditches, drainage, and swamps. And also we can provide doors and windows with wire mesh, which will prevent the mosquitoes from entering into our house. Right? Now these are all these were the general means of preventing diseases. What is the main method of preventing disease? Which is vaccination and immunization. Right? Which is another big topic which will be handled in another class. Okay. So vaccination and immunization helps to control diseases like very dangerous diseases like smallpox, chickenpox, pneumonia, tetanus, like that. Okay, right. And also drugs like antibodies also help to treat infectious diseases. So that's all for today, children. Thank you, all of you.